Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Electric Violin Shop live stream. We're hanging out as usual. It's a beautiful day here in Durham, North Carolina, and I'm really excited. We've had a couple of guests the last few weeks. Who did we talk to? We talked to Earl Manian last week, uh, and then we've got somebody cool for you next week as well, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But right now is my friend Ginny Luke, who is from LA. Well, she lives in LA, but she's hanging out in Nashville at the moment. And we're excited to talk to you about what you got going on. What's happening in your world?
Thanks, Matt. What's up in my world? I am here in Nashville, went to Kesha's show, and had a few of my vocals in her tour, background vocals. So I was excited to hear that and catch up with some friends. And played for some cool artists last week. That'll air in November. I can talk about that more when that comes out. Very excited. And I have a new single coming out next week called When the Lights Go Out.
Awesome.
Hey! It has a bunch of electric violin solos and little riffs. So I really hope if anyone is digging, some hard, sexy rock with electric violin in it, that you'll check it out.
Yeah, so this is single number what for you? You've done a bunch.
My first single I released when I was 15.
So like 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Please don't scour the internet to go find it. It's so funny. It's been a long journey, and coming from Iowa, I learned a lot.
it's
But
it's
yeah,
always hard for me to go listen to some of my early stuff because I don't know, like it's not bad, right? You
yeah,
go back and listen to it, you're like I'm not mad about that, and I don't know, like I'm glad that I wasn't putting garbage out, but then I'm kind of like a little bit sad because I'm like, well, I thought I was getting better, and I'm not as much better as I thought I was. So it's like when your old stuff is pretty good, I don't really know how to feel about that.
I think my stuff has evolved and grown. I feel you though, and it's hard. It's hard to listen back to some of that, but that's the artist's journey. It's always a snapshot in time. So I always try to encourage my friends and other like mentees and students to just record it. Just get it down. It's worth it. Rather have it and have no regrets than not get it recorded.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think we can get a little paralyzed by like it's gonna be out there forever, and it's this, and you go, you know what? It's just it's a snapshot of where you are and who you are. If you're honest with your music, it's a snapshot of who you are today. And hopefully 5 years from now, you couldn't make that song again because you're a different person now.
Totally, totally. And I feel that about some songs I have, that I've been either working on for 5 years or I have them in the vault for 5 years. And I'm at a point where I'm like, I just want to finish every composition that is good and get it out. It's ridiculous. But for this album, I had to turn in like 30 songs, either song ideas or fully fleshed out songs, to the label, and then we picked the best out of that. So that was kind of like, okay, gather everything I have, that was a draft, and turn it in, and then we'll evaluate. It was a
That's hard to
rushed,
do,
rushed. Oh
right?
yeah,
Isn't it
and it
like
was,
it's like trying to just pick between your kids? Like,
you
which
know,
kid do I love more? You're like, well, I like them all actually, but yeah, then it's exciting though to go which ones group together nicely, and which ones as a package kind of say what I'm trying to say.
totally, totally, and not just what I want to say, but like, how do I want to leave my mark on the world with this record? Because it starts to matter more, I think, as you put full albums out, and you know now we're in this, I think, time in artistry where people resonate with the artist's message and what they
Mm.
stand for, not just the music itself. So that's really important, that that's clearly defined, and that we resonate with the people listening to our music that way,
Well, I
I
think it's
think.
important that you do say something. Actually, wait just a second. We got to put
Mhm.
here. Oh, there we go. You, you see this?
Yeah.
And then
That's great. Oh, thank you.
that's the review there. What's up, Lucas? Hope you're doing
Yes.
well, man. Is he out right now?
He's home from tour prepping for the next Pentatonics tour that just starts in like a couple weeks, like 2 weeks. And I put some violin on that as well, so
All
that'll be
right.
cool. On the last one, yeah, you'll hear me along
Very
with Lindsay. She had that radioactive collab, so that was in their last tour. That was pretty cool.
okay.
Yeah.
I have to say, when most of that stuff was coming out, I was too busy like studying and listening to like weird modern classical music. I didn't get to listen to anything cool for a couple years.
Sure, totally. That was like my introduction to Lindsay Sterling was that radioactive cover,
Really?
and I thought it was the coolest ever. Yeah, because her visuals were so cool, and it was just a really well done version. That was exciting. I don't remember what era of life that was. If that was like late high school or early college for me.
Yeah, hey, listen, I love Lindsay. I will listen to no Lindsay slander. She's amazing. And, what an incredible artist and visionary and filmmaker and like all the things that she does. Like, holy cow. Like, she's at the top of her game in like a dozen different areas all at once and doesn't get nearly enough credit for that in the violin world, I don't think.
I totally agree, and I think it's great for all other violinists and the community. Um, I think it's encouraging bands to have more violin. It's encouraging producers to add it in, and then it's encouraging the young generation to explore electric strings, which means so much to my efforts, I think, and probably Mark Wood's efforts, and Nina De Gregorio, and all the people who are like really pushing for the next generation. Um, I know we want people and young people to resonate with electric strings. I think it's really important.
Yeah. And I love what you were saying before about your album about how you want to say something. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's a thing that maybe is missing in a lot of music right now. Like the people that
Mm-hmm.
are trying to make stuff for mass consumption, we're in such a polarized society that you're afraid to say anything because, like, the grass is green. That's controversial. You're really showing your privilege. And, like, there's all this weird stuff going on in society. Like, people are afraid to say anything for fear
Mm-hmm.
of alienating people. And I think it's important to just, you know what, I am going to say something, and if it alienates people, fine, whatever. But
Yeah.
I've got to resonate in some way. I've got to be honest.
Totally. Yeah, it's interesting. Again, with the new era of artistry, they say you have to be comfortable polarizing your audience. And right now, I'm navigating that as an artist. I'm trying to find my footing, of speaking out for what I stand for, but also offering a new viewpoint in an approachable way. So I think some of the best artists are able to offer ideas about culture, and it's kind of their take on culture, while doing it in an approachable or interesting way that makes you think a different way. That's my favorite way artists do it, you know?
100%. So let's talk about the message on your latest project. What, the music obviously is super important. The message is important. Let's talk about both of those, I guess.
Sure. The message is strong, specifically for me, strong female embodiment and electric violin vocal to represent my strength and finding that strength, finding my identity through a lot of things in the last couple years. And I hope to encourage other people to find their strength through the music.
Well, let's the name of the tune again is
When the Lights Go Out. So that comes out October 31st. I hope everybody will check it out. Um,
I
it's
think you're ready to share some of that, right?
Yeah, I have I have an issue with the audio here, so I think what I'll do, we have the pre-save link in the bio,
Mm.
is that right? Or
Yep.
in the
Yeah.
description?
We've posted that. Lucas posted it. We posted it.
Okay,
Just so
awesome.
everybody knows, the reason that we don't just drop the audio here and just let you listen to the whole thing right now is a copyright thing. Now, obviously, the song isn't out yet, so the algorithm doesn't know to look for it. But at some point, it will be out, and the algorithm will go digging back through, and it'll chunk this video in the dustbin of history. So I
What
think
I
if you've got the ability, we will listen to some of it, though, right?
I would love to, I'm having a login issue here on this computer, but what I would love to do is play some of it, if
Yeah, do
that's
it.
okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I started it as, this was originally a demo with Thomas Lang, by the way, who is a phenomenal drummer. And we wrote it in kind of like a pop techno way, and I reimagined it with like a guitar riff. I'm feeling to shock you, deep breathing, I'll rock you to the other side of paradise. And it builds like that. And it grows into once I'm rushing through your veins, you will never be the same. Draw you into my escape, delirious, you can't escape. Heavy wrist. And then in the bridge it goes into this kind of James Bond thing. Just singing my mantra. Till you reach your bottom. It builds. That's kind of a little preview.
That's badass. I love it.
Thank you. You know what's so funny too when they say like, "Oh, you didn't produce it." Here, do you have a password for this? I'm gonna log into this password. Hold on one second. Yeah. Give me 1 second. Sorry. Uh-huh. 3852. Okay. Perfect. Oh, thank you. So now I can share a little bit of the song. Sorry.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, when they say like you're not producing because you're not engineering, but I'm creating all the parts, imagining the guitars and the bass line. You know, there's like a lot of musical compositional elements that are intentional. So I kind of wish there was more acknowledgement in that way for like people who don't engineer as much. But hey, I'm learning every day. We're always learning new skills, right? So, and I would love to say, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just don't understand the criticism of like, well, you're not doing this or you're not doing that. You know, Beethoven didn't have any 808s and like, bro, like it doesn't matter. The thing is created. There's always people, there's teams of people doing this stuff. There aren't really a lot of people doing the Prince thing where he writes and sings and plays and engineers and produces the whole thing. These are teams of people doing this. And if you're part of that team and you're the quarterback of that team, then it got done and you were part of it and that's it.
Yeah, and it's the artist's vision. I know a lot of violinists that feel kind of put down in that way because we, a lot of us start when we're like 3 or 4 years old, and we don't start in the audio world. We start in classical music or, a violin world. So I feel like there's, thank you. I feel like there's less understanding from the audio side to the string world. But I think we're bridging the gaps now as recording is becoming more common. Do you know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like, yeah, go ahead.
and I think people like you and Chuck and people like Lindsay and Mia and all the people that are doing all this cool stuff are definitely showing people that we can, even string players, we play this fiendishly difficult instrument that takes so much time to just be able to make a sound that doesn't make you want to kill yourself. Um, and then some of us try to make sounds that do. Anyway, but it takes so much to master the instrument that we don't have as much time to put into other things. But there's a lot of these kind of, I guess we call multi-hyphenate people, like violinist, composer, songwriter, producer, whatever. There's a lot more of those than there used to be.
Totally. Yeah, and just to restate the point for all producers and engineers that work with new string players, and especially electric string players, we have been studying this instrument on such a serious level for so many years that we're trained to make it our utmost priority almost over everything. And it's just a little bit of a shock that needs some support, I think, when you get into the recording world of like, okay, yeah, you do have to learn about audio and you have to learn about marketing, and you like to get your music heard, you're going to have to do so much more than just play your instrument. And now that's normal. Of course, we know this, and TikTok culture reflects it. But I just want to say I feel for other artists who are trying to navigate it, because I'm definitely navigating it all the time.
Yeah.
But
Did you say you had some audio ready?
yeah,
Let's
okay,
hear
here
it.
we go. How much do you think I can play the whole thing, or it'll get cut
Well,
out?
it's not
If I,
it's not out yet, so the computer won't know to look for it. It's just later on. If you're watching this later and your audio gets muted, it's because the computer realized that this came out and that's what happened. So if you're in the future, hey, hope everything's cool in the future. But yeah, let's listen to some music.
cool. Here we go. Okay. I'm feeling to shock you, deep breathing. I'll rock you to the other side of paradise. Got you singing my mantra, body lit, getting hot. To all the power I got, don't have to tell you twice. Once I'm rushing through your veins, you will never be the same. Draw you into my restraints, delirious, you can't escape. I'm what you want, when I push you down. I'll light you up, when the lights go out. Turn the power on, drive the voltage down. Light you up, when the lights go out. Got you in my hands, I can't hold my hands. I created a masterpiece. Painted shadows and textures, even stains and images. Now I got you on. Once I'm rushing through your veins, you will never be the same. Draw you into my restraints, believe me, I'm what you want. it's like my Jack White, Alicia Keys homage of those hits.
I love it. Love it.
Thank you.
Oh, what just came up here? Yeah.
Nice.
Ooh. Dig that.
Royal Blood. Oh my God, I love Royal Blood. That'd be crazy. I love their sound.
And then this is a great comment here too.
Should be multi-skilled. Oh yeah, I agree. String player gamer, I love seeing you on Twitch. You're awesome. I've seen it with Rachel when we stream.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, totally. Oh wow, you think mixing and mastering should be a basic skill? Yeah, I think skill. It's just it depends how your artistry is expressed. I think so. You know, it's interesting like how you want to spend your time as an artist. But I think string player gamer, you're super talented. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It might be a basic skill for string player gamer. It's not a basic skill. Like mixing, yes. Mastering, I have not gotten into that yet. And like the thing is, I have people for that. Like there's certain things that I have, like I've only got 24 hours in every day. And I've got things that I need to invest my time in. And then there's other things I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to outsource. Because you, like in theory, you can learn to do it all, but I would have to put so much time in that to get good at it. I would rather just have a friend who's already good at it. Just let them do it.
Totally. That's how I feel too. And honestly, for me to keep my career going with the amount of gigs and sessions, and recording my solo work, I'm pretty much full 24 hours a day, like you said. And you're running the shop too. I mean, you have your career. Your music is bomb, Matt. I love your music.
Thank you.
So fun. Every time you drop something, I'm so grateful you're like leading this community. It's awesome.
I don't know about running anything. And I don't run the shop. I'm just a social media guy. So
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we are actually the Electric Violin Shop is a employee-owned co-op. So there are 4 employees that own a co-op that owns the business. And so it's Chris and Jamie and Susie and Duncan. They're the owner, and the inmates are running the asylum. You know, the full-time employees, because I'm only here part-time. The full-time employees, they own it, they run it, they handle everything. So there's not like some corporate overlord that's saying, hey, you got to get your stock price up. So, you know, the next person like we had somebody call today that we have a 30-day return policy, and they had ordered something like 5 or 6 weeks ago, and they got it in, and they'd ordered some equipment, but they're still waiting for the violin, which is a custom order. And they're like, well, the more I think about it, I think this one piece of gear I don't actually need, but it's past the 30 days. And we're like, yeah, but I mean, we don't like a corporate policy. We can actually decide in that instance, well, the right thing to do is to take it back. So we're just going to do it.
Wow.
So the advantage of being a small, and like the owners are sitting here in the shop with me, that we just do the right thing for the customer. And we don't have to answer to, you know, some CEO in a suit somewhere.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Y'all's customer service is amazing. And so I wouldn't just say help, but like life-saving, because right when my violin was stolen, you guys helped get me a good electric violin, a Yamaha, to go on tour with like the next week or so, and that saved my tour and saved my career. You know, that was
Well,
amazing. It was
we
so
do what
kind
we
of you.
can to help.
I tell everybody, yeah, it was amazing.
Well, so yeah, tell them about the
Do
instrument
you
that
want
you've
to?
got there. You've got the same fiddle that Lindsay has. Now, it doesn't sound like Lindsay's fiddle.
Okay, it's a Yamaha, and I love this one. It has a pickup blend in the back. And actually, I've just been experimenting with it because I used to always do the body because it was more resonant.
Mm-hmm.
You can really hear the tapping when you put your fingers down, but I do love that sound because it's really deep. And then the bridge pickup has less, but I really like the. Actually, I like the body pickup more, but I just blend them depending on the sound. Honestly, I don't know how everybody else finds their tone. I just listen to what sounds good and then I make decisions. And people have told me my tone is some of the best they've heard for electric violin. And I think it's just because I hang out with guitar players a lot and I turn knobs. So
Yep.
I, and I like rich tones, darker tones, you know? My acoustic violin is always a really deep, rich tone. So that's what I like in my overdrives and my distortions is a richness. So I think this Yamaha absolutely has it. That's why I recommend the Yamaha to everyone, especially to start. And then I've been playing on a Viper lately and using the Helix and some friends' gear. I still have the trusty M9, Line 6 M9, but I'm switching over to the Helix because I keep borrowing it from everybody. Um, but I love experimenting with the Viper now too because it's like kind of like a different vocabulary to work with or a different set of parameters, I guess, and that makes me play differently and take new risks and new types of expression. So that's been fun to find. I really want to keep doing that with Chuck because we had this cover of Kashmir that we did, pretty quickly in one session, and we just filmed a little video for it, and it was so fun, and like so much new artistry came out. So I really appreciate Chuck doing that with me. I think he's one of the best rock violinists out there.
Yeah, no question. And that, I mean, you sort of stumbled into why every guitar player owns an entire room full of guitars because they're all different. And in your hand, like it
Mm-hmm.
sounds a little different to maybe the audience, but it feels and sounds different to you, and it's going to make you think and play and emote differently. And like that's worth its weight in gold. Like anything that's going to unlock new ideas and push me in a new direction, like I'm all for it. So
Mm-hmm. Me too. Do you have any interest in hearing a preview of the new album?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so the what you heard when the lights go out comes out October 31st on Halloween. Um, then the first single features Orianthi, the guitar player, doing a solo, and then I have a solo. So I'll just play about up to there. I'll play the big guitar there at my solo if you want to take a listen. And Orianthi had this awesome tone through her custom orange amp. I think she's releasing that this year, but I got to work with her in the studio and her blues licks and just her tone is just fantastic. It's literally just her amp. I think she had a distortion pedal. I don't remember. And then a wah, and that was it. She didn't come in with like a big pedal board or anything. But Nick Maybury is on guitar, and he did come in for the record with like 100 pedals. And I kid you not, I think he probably had like 5 pedal boards and like 4 amps. And it's so interesting to watch different guitar players work. You know, it's so fun. I love it. I think I secretly want to be a guitar player, and I just had to play violin. So that's just the way I express it. But yeah, Devil at My Heels is going to be the first single in January, so I'll play a little bit of that. Here we go. That's kind of fun.
That's amazing. Yeah, and if
I'll
anybody,
play.
if nobody has seen your live performance, yo, like Ginny's like she's like a very energetic, bubbly, like happy person when you talk to her. You turn into like this beast on stage. Ginny is she's a handful on stage. Like it's a you put on a fantastic show.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my god. Yeah, I think that's why also I had to make kind of an edgy record because that's who I am on stage. It's like the Beyonce Sasha Fierce thing. And I people who only know me in person are like, "Oh, you're so sweet. Why are you doing a rock record?" And I'm like, because this I feel like, I've been conditioned to be a certain way socially, but on stage I'm going to like do whatever the f I want. So that's pretty fun. I want to, encourage other people to be able to do that too. Be
Tina Glow's a
themselves.
lot like that too. When you talk to her in person, she's just very quiet
Mm-hmm.
and like shy
Mm-hmm.
almost and timid. And then you put a cello in
Mm-hmm.
her hands, you're like, who are you?
Totally. Some of the best performers in history are that way. You think of Michael and Janet. They're soft spoken and sweet a lot of times. So I think about that. I'm like, artists should just be able to be exactly how they are to be their best selves. I think their best selves, you know? So I stopped worrying about it because people are like, oh, you're a little too sweet. And I'm like, I don't care. Spring
Yeah,
player gamer,
and
thank
isn't it
you.
funny? Like,
Oh.
is it me or is it mostly women who receive that criticism though? Like their personality between stage and real life, like the criticism and all that. It's I think it's more of a woman thing. Like guys don't get criticized for that.
It could be. We're still battling the lines. You know, we're still figuring it out. You know, culturally, how to run our lives and our careers and communicate well. But that's the reason I feel like grateful to have an opportunity to put an edgier album out and hopefully makes a statement. And then also, you know, I have my education work at USC, so working with students and mentees, I hope to help their artistry develop so they can just be who they are. I think that's the goal for my life. Like Kesha said that at the concert last night. It was awesome. She was like, I love you exactly as you are, to everyone in the audience. And as an audience member and a longtime fan, I was like, thank you. Yes. I don't know. It was just a cool community thing.
We
Um,
did have a
let's
question
see. You want to
here.
hear some more?
Yeah, I did have a question here about effects and filters you have for that recording. You want to talk a little bit about what you're doing for processing on your violin?
Yeah, sure. I use primarily the Line 6 M9, which is an older version of the Helix. Um, I use the regular overdrive and a digital delay. Um, Sometimes I use other like modulation delays or tape delays, but it's funny that we were talking about the Meatloaf people earlier. I learned about the M9 and how to use it originally from Lisa Harriton, who's a keyboard player. She was my teacher and for Smashing Pumpkins. She gave me one when I was 18, and then when I was on the Meatloaf tour, the guitar players both had one. So they were helping me choose settings back when I was like 19 and 20. And so that's why the digital delay, even though usually I don't like digital simulations, like intentionally digital, I like this one a lot. So it's really controllable too. And I usually like feedback of like 2 repeats. So like da da da, and I like a quarter note delay when I do tap tempo. Um, yeah, and my you like it too. Yeah, and my favorite amp that I've played through for most stuff live is the Trace Elliott bass amp. I really like that one. But for this album, I mostly went direct, which is surprising. Now I'm not going direct very. Like, I finished recording this album maybe 6 months ago, 8 months ago, or longer. So since I've been using a lot of different amps, because that's kind of a goal now, I've really been enjoying using Eddie Van Halen's amp. And you know, all the standard guitar amps, Hot Rod, Deluxe, Fender. That's a little, I would say, a little harsh or brash, but sometimes you want that sound. Um, so for this record, I actually, yeah, I went and I think I had an LR Bags as well, so I could EQ right there with the band. I could EQ my sound. There's an EQ on the M9 too, but I like to have more control. So again, like I'm not a pedal nerd. I'm really interested in pedals, but I'm really interested in how the result sounds and how it makes me feel and how it serves the song. So that's why I really like having you there and just not an overwhelming amount of pedals. Although I'm sure as my career grows and I get, you know, more opportunity to work with more companies. I used to have a bunch of endorsements and stuff and work with different pedal companies. I would like to again. I think that time will come probably as I tour next year. Um, but yeah, for the record, I kept it pretty simple. And for some of it, I can play you a cool one. I got to use some of Nick's crazy pedals and, whammy and some like intense fuzzes, if you want to hear any of those.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, I'm going to jump to a solo section where I'm playing back and forth with Nick Maybury, the guitar player. Okay. Here's the beginning. Cool riff. Alright, so I'm not here. Guitar. Now here's violin. Guitar. And that was the freeze pedal. That's like I think it's a delay that just it just freezes the tone when you stomp on it, and then it kept going, and I kept that in there because it was freaking cool.
I actually really dig that. Was that a mistake?
That was fun.
Like that was a happy little accident?
Yeah.
I love those.
And also, like, yeah, the way Nick plays is really intense, and sometimes, like, he throws in a lot of tritones or a lot of interesting, voicings. So I had to think of the weirdest stuff I could play in response to his. And I was just trying to make weird noises. And I got a lot of inspiration from AC/DC for that because they have a lot of weird sounds. And then, of course, in the Meatloaf show, there were the motorcycle sounds. So just throwing in whatever I could think of, really. I have some more here, like on this song, Leading Lady. That's going to be another single. Are you interested in hearing some more weird sounds?
Always.
Okay. All right, I'm going to jump.
Oh, baby, won't you call my name? Wouldn't want me to try to hide it.
Guitar, violin, and then I sang over. Whoa! So it was kind of a funny accident of. And then Nick played this like demonic, and then this run. And then we made it into a full line. Something like that. Weird violin, always welcome. Yeah. Play a little more like straight ahead rock. This is a Deep Purple cover of Burn, and I'll just jump to my violin solo. I spent about an hour and a half transcribing this classic solo, and here it's like good use of the wah. All right, this is a famous song. Hopefully you guys know it. I'll play you the music solo. So the guitar player, Julie Ross, did this solo. Here we have guitar violinist. You get the idea.
Love that. I love guitar violin stuff together. That is so cool.
Me too. I love it so much. Especially like ever since Jack White did that on Lazaretto, it's still a dream of mine to work with him. I've just
And you
been
said
like,
Neely played that?
Yeah, Neely Brosh played it on guitar. That solo. She's sick. She's so sick.
And Orianthi too. You got great taste in guitar players.
Thank you. I'm so grateful. I had reached out to Nita Strauss for this record too, but she was on tour. But hopefully another time.
Yeah, it's just the hits keep coming.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
saw
I'm grateful too that the
Orianthi-
label.
I saw Orianthi playing at the NAMM show, and she was doing a show with a well-known male guitar player who I won't name, but you know his name. And they were doing their sound check, and he was being a total diva, and was just being a monstrous pain in the butt, and was warming up and doing those stuff, but he needed this and he needed that, and this is too high, and I need less mids in this, and blah, 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 blah. And then when it's her chance, she starts playing and she's mopping the floor with him. And they're like, what can we get you in your monitor? Almost dreading how this conversation is going to go. And she's like, it's fine. And I didn't even stay for the show. I was like, that's it. I saw everything I need to see. I'm out. She owns this whole thing.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm a fan. That's it.
She really leads. Yeah, totally. She leads with grace and dignity, and she's been very helpful for my career on the phone. She's offered her time and her insight and her advice. She carries herself so well. so well in the industry. I think she's such a good example. So awesome. Do you want to hear any acoustic stuff?
Acoustic?
Yeah, like acoustic. Like
why would anybody? No, yeah, but let's answer this question here, and then yeah, we'll listen to some acoustic stuff.
What's your process like for writing parts? Okay, that's a great question. I think of things in different categories, especially to serve the song. Do we need a riff here? And a riff would, be like a hooky part that's like similar to either a guitar hooky line or synth hooky line. So that would be like an iconic staple of the song. Or do we need an ad-lib type of fill on violin, and then I don't write those, I just let those come out from my soul, I guess. And then solos. So with solos, and I teach this at USC too, of how to build a solo. And I think I studied Steve Vai and Joe Satriani on how to build them well, and of course every great soloist. But I always try to do it in mostly 3 parts for solos, of establishing, and either you're claiming the room or you're starting with an expressive emotion. And I like to kind of identify what that emotion needs to be. So how it needs to build really starts with the tone there. Like, are you going to start, or are you going to just like come out hard? Like you have to kind of decipher the song. But then I always build an arc into my solos. Make sure that there's a middle point, and then there's a climactic apex that serves the song again, like serves the composition. So I definitely like to shred and can shred, but it's important to me that everything is done with musical intention. So same with riffs. Any riffs I write, or any parts like comping, like I like rhythmic comping, and I like harmonic support. Like I would rather go for simple that's than overplay. So let me think really quick. Also, part of the process, I think, is listening to artists that inspire you. So like I usually get 1 to 5 references of what I either want the song to sound like, or the piece, or what I want my sound to sound like. So like if it's a bluesy thing, more Stevie Ray Vaughan, or sometimes Nita's a little at certain points in her album. So sometimes I want that like really fast ideas. So sometimes also, like recently with my mentor Andre Gill, I had to lay down a bebop violin solo. So to get ready for that, I went to LA Jazz Fest, listened to Kamasi Washington and Taylor Graves, and just really because I feel like you have to experience styles of music to play them well. You can't just study them, in my opinion. I think studying is great, but you really have to go to the jazz club, or you have to go to the honky tonk, you have to go to the symphony. So yeah, to prepare, I usually try to listen deeply to the references that I'm gonna emulate. And I love, John Mayer always says, you can try to sing like someone, but you'll never have their voice, so it'll always be you. You might have an influence, but it'll always be you. And I always try to encourage other people to do that too, both in their sound, their tone, and their songwriting. So yeah.
Very true.
So here, okay. So, thank you. This is a good one, and I don't want to say this the wrong way, but this is kind of like a Kurt Cobain style Ginny Luke sentiment. So of course I don't want to be compared to the great Kurt Cobain, and I don't want to be compared to Nirvana, but I had, an experience I wanted to write about, or an emotional sentiment I wanted to express. And I thought of Kurt Cobain, and I thought of a classic Nirvana guitar tone. And this song is called Woman I Wanted to Be. And then I have an acoustic violin solo that's kind of, my producer Dave Darling said it was like angry tango, which is funny because I didn't think of tango. It's just more classical. You know, it's like a furious concerto sentiment, and so that was something I wanted to do on acoustic. So I'll play you just a second of that. I know we just have a couple minutes, so I'll just do it.
Yeah, dig it. That's awesome.
And then it goes. Okay. Here's that guitar talking about. You can hear it, and you just immediately tell the tone of the song.
All alone, sleepless night, too far gone. When I know I could be conquering this war, but I'm dying inside. My life is on the floor. Tonight,
Jump to the solo. And then I go into this kind of post interlude. I did this with Simon Huber. It's very classically based. Yeah, I'll skip ahead. Yeah, so that kind of expresses in a very different way, you know, something that I felt needed to be on acoustic and needed to be more of a, almost like a romantic concerto. You know, that emotionality. So
Yeah,
it was
exactly the right sound for that. Yeah, it was exactly the right sound and feel in that place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and I hope as I talk about the song more as the album comes out, I'll be able to describe how that feels. You know, anger, anger and terror and all emotions that I feel like women have a new opportunity to talk about in their own unique way now. Processing. Does Ginny have tour for after this release? Yeah, next year in 2024, the label's lining up some tour dates, so that's really exciting. And I'm looking for more opening act slots too. So I think I'll be at South by Southwest. So that'll be cool. I'll be at NAMM then for sure. So I'll keep you guys posted.
Yeah, so you'll be at NAMM in January?
Yeah.
I will see you
Yeah, I'll
then.
keep you posted if I'm on like a main stage or where I'm at. Oh, awesome. Yes. That'll be so great. Well, let me know if you want to hear any more of the album, Matt. Have you heard it?
No, I just, what I've heard here is first, but I've heard you before, so I knew I was excited.
Thank you so much, Matt. I'll send this to you as a preview. And if anyone else wants to hear some sneak peeks, you can follow me on my Patreon because I share that with Patreon followers. And
Awesome.
yeah, totally. And if you're like, hey, I want to hear your music, I don't want to be on Patreon or join it, it's totally fine. Let's just be in touch. And I just want to like try to inspire as many people. Go make your records. We need more string players to make records. So hey, message me and seriously, let's have this conversation continue going because that's what we need.
Absolutely.
For inspiration and to support each other as artists.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us. I put a link to your website up in here, and there's a link. We've got links in all the streams to the pre-order. Go buy the music. Streaming is, streaming's okay and everything, but like Earl and I were talking about last week, streaming don't pay the bills, bro. So if you can go buy this record, please do.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I love supporting other artists too. Whatever way you can show support is amazing. Like if you can share, you know, commenting, every single ounce of support, especially that artists give other artists, helps, you know? So I love this community for that reason. Thank you, Matt, for being such a leader.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming and hanging, and yeah, this has been a lot of fun. It's always a privilege to get to talk to you, and hopefully the next time we can do it in person. See you in Anaheim or something.
Yeah. Yes, I can't wait. Awesome. Thank you so
Awesome.
much, Matt. Have a
When
great
you get
rest of your
home, tell
day.
Lucas that I said hi and thanks for hanging out. And we'll break bread or something real soon.
That sounds great. Awesome. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you.